Some secrets stay buried for a lifetime time. People went years blaming Nam, but no one knew the truth. I carried a pain I could never explain. A paid stole my today. I'm finally to have my story. I was only 22 when I got married. Like every young girl, I dreamed of a happy family. I believed love would make everything beautiful. My husband seemed kind, responsibly. I trusted him, thought Harvard, and last of that bad whole home together. Everyone said we were the ideal couple. I truly believed I was lucky. I had no idea what destiny had planned. After a year, the questions started. Any good news? They would ask with a smile. At first, I would just blush and stay quiet, but soon the smiles turned into judgment, and the judgment turned into blame. Every family gathering be painful. Women whispered when I walked by. Some even pitied my husband, as if he was the unlucky one, and I was the problem. I can't pretend anymore. This is not what I wanted for you. She wanted a grandchild, and she wanted one fast. Every month felt like a test I was failing. I began to hate the sound of baby news, because it reminded me of what I didn't have. Slowly, my husband started changing too. He became distant, colder than before. Our conversations grew shorter. His patience disappeared, and silence filled our home. Maybe you can or never be a mother. Those words shattered something inside me. I cried silently so he wouldn't hear, but that was the night my loneliness truly began. Years went by, and the questions never stopped, haunting me every day. Every family gathering, every phone call felt like a reminder of my failure.
I would smile politely, nod, and say, "Everything will be fine," while inside I was crumbling. Slowly, I started noticing how my husband changed. Little by little over the years, he no longer held my hand with warmth. His touch felt cold, distant. Conversations became short, clipped, almost mechanical. Laughter disappeared from our home as if it had never existed. Even the smallest joys were now shadowed by silence and tension. I began to feel like a stranger in my own house, trapped and invisible. Nights were the worst, lying awake with only my thoughts and tears for company. I asked myself over and over, is it my fault? I wondered if I had done something wrong, something unfixable. Each failed attempt, each doctor's visit, piled more weight on my shoulders. Pills, injections, and endless tests became a part of my life. A life I never wanted. Still nothing changed, and the blame remained squarely on me. Slowly, hope started to fade, almost imperceptibly at first. Then completely, I stopped attending family events, afraid of judgment and pity. Baby showers, birthdays, celebrations. Every joyful moment reminded me of my emptiness. I began to withdraw from friends, isolating myself in silent grief. The weight of loneliness became a constant companion. My husband, once so loving, now seemed like a shadow of the man I married. His eyes no longer held kindness. His voice no longer held patience. Silence replaced warmth in our home, creating a coldness I could not escape. I spent years protecting his pride, hiding my pain, while slowly losing myself. The woman I was had disappeared, leaving only exhaustion and despair. One day, a new doctor asked a question no one had ever thought to ask. "Has your husband been tested?" she inquired gently. My heart skipped a beat. The thought had never crossed my mind in decades of marriage. Suddenly, a possibility opened up that I had never dared to imagine. That moment marked the beginning of a truth I wasn't prepared for. I insisted on the tests, despite his defensiveness and reluctance. The waiting was unbearable. Each day felt heavier than the last. When the results finally came, the world seemed to stop around me. My husband was infertile. He had been all along. 40 years of misplaced blame, shame, and sorrow crashed over me in a single instant. I sat there in silence, numb, unable to cry or speak. The life I had believed I ruined was never mine to ruin. All those years of feeling less, broken, and inadequate, they had been based on a lie. I realized the truth had come too late to give me the life I had dreamed of. Yet even in that pain, a spark of strength began to grow within me.
That simple question from the doctor stayed in my mind for days. For the first time, I wondered, what if the problem was never mine? My hands trembled when I mentioned the test to my husband. He immediately became defensive, almost offended. "There is nothing wrong with me," he said sharply. But something inside me refused to stay silent anymore. Decades of blame had built a quiet strength within me. I insisted, gently but firmly. After weeks of arguments, he finally agreed. Neither of us was ready for what was coming. The day of the results felt heavier than any day of my life. I could hear my heartbeat louder than the ticking clock. The doctor looked at us with careful eyes. Then she spoke words that froze time. The medical issue was not mine. It was his. In that moment, the world around me went silent. Years of accusations echoed inside my head. Every insult, every tear, every sleepless night, all for a truth no one had dared to question. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel relieved. I only felt an unbearable sadness because my youth had already slipped away and nothing could bring it back. I looked at my husband hoping for remorse, but he avoided my eyes. Silence filled the space between us again. Except this silence felt different. It felt final. On the drive home, neither of us spoke. The road ahead looked endless and unfamiliar. I realized we had been living a lie for decades. A lie that had cost me motherhood. A lie that had cost me my happiness. That night, I cried harder than ever before. Not because I couldn't have children, but because I had carried guilt that was never mine. I mourned the life I could have lived, and the love that should have protected me. Morning came, but something inside me had changed forever. For the first time, I saw my life with painful clarity. I had spent years apologizing for a mistake I never made. I had shrunk myself to fit into other people's expectations. And now, there was nothing left to prove. My husband tried to act normal, but normal no longer existed for me. Respect, once broken, is difficult to rebuild. Trust, once shattered, never sounds the same again. We became strangers sharing the same house. I stopped blaming myself that day. A strange peace slowly replaced my guilt, yet the regret remained. I regretted my silence more than anything. Silence had stolen decades from me. If only I had spoken sooner. If only I had questioned the blame. If only I had protected my own heart. But life does not move backward. It only teaches, sometimes too late. I began noticing how strong I actually was. After everything, I was still standing, still breathing, still capable of telling my story, and that realization gave me power. Pain changes you, but it also introduces you to yourself. I was no longer the quiet girl who feared judgment. I was a woman who had survived it, and survival is its own kind of victory. One evening, I looked in the mirror for a long time. Wrinkles surrounded my eyes. Silver had replaced the black in my hair. Time had written its story across my face. But for the first time, I did not look away. I wasn't ashamed anymore. I wasn't broken. I wasn't incomplete. I was simply a woman who deserved the truth, just like everyone else. So why am I telling you this now? Because silence protects no one, and blame destroys more lives than truth ever will. If you are carrying guilt that doesn't belong to you, please let it go. Ask questions. Seek answers. Protect your heart, and never let society decide your worth. You are more than their expectations. To every woman listening, your voice matters more than your fear. Do not wait decades to discover your value. Do not sacrifice yourself to keep others comfortable. Choose yourself, even when it feels difficult. Looking back, I cannot rewrite my past, but I can warn you before it becomes your future. Life is too short to live under false blame, and too precious to spend in silence. You deserve honesty. If my story touched your heart, Tell me in the comments. Have you ever been blamed for something that wasn't your fault? I read every comment, and your story matters here. This is a space where your voice is safe. You are not alone anymore. And if you believe real stories like this should be heard, please subscribe to this channel. Your support helps these truths reach more people. Together, we can break the silence. Together, we can heal. I lived many years in quiet pain, but today I choose courage. Today I choose truth. And today, I finally choose myself. Thank you for listening to my story. Remember this: the truth may arrive late, but it is always worth knowing. Stay strong and never stop standing up for your own life.